24 works. You have to find a way to get these 4 numbers to make 24. Now, for example, if I go 3 times 4 is 12. So I've used 3 and 4. And if I now take 12, no, I get 20. So I have not won the game. I would like you to try and do this and then put your attempt in the chat. So in the chat, I want to see the numbers, the 3 times something, and see if you can get 24, just to get the brain, the muscles working. You know, remember in the first lesson, I spoke about my idea of maths as the gym, and this is kind of our stretching phase. Okay, so let's get those. I'm going to stretch my neck because I'm sitting down, and you are going to stretch your mental maths brains. And then I'm watching the chat to see what's going on. Kenneth has a very nice variation there, Kenneth. I like that. Looks pretty promising. Can anybody think of another way to do it? So Kenneth has put down the numbers 3 times 6 plus 2 plus 4. Let's try. What about, so one of the things today that we're going to actually talk about is it matters what order we carry out Kenneth's operations. Now, we actually, in this case, we were doing, guys, can we put all microphones on mute? Just all microphones on mute for now. I will ask you to unmute when we get going. So if we look at what happened here, we do get 24. But the important bit is that because of something called BODMAS or PEMDAS, depending where you come in the world, we do the multiplication first. Are there any other answers that we can maybe get? I want to see 4 times 4 times 3, 4 times 4 times 3, that would give us 48. And then you're right, it could work, but what's the last thing we have to do with the 48 to get to 24? Oh, wait, you've used numbers that we don't have. Okay. If we look above, let's just get rid of this. If we look at what we've got to play with, the numbers we've got to play with are 4, 6, 3, and 2. Now, we can't have 2 4s because we only have 1 4 to play with, if that makes sense. Aha. See, Zakele, I see you've got 6 times 4 is 24. You're absolutely correct, but you have to use all the numbers in this game. So can you use these last 2 numbers with what you've done and still get to 24? In fact, you can. I want to see, can others help us? How can we combine what Cesar Kela has done with this? Chulu, I think you have smashed it. So what you can do is you can say, I have my 6 times 4, and then I'm going to times that by 3 minus 2. Now, in effect, what that does is 3 minus 2 is 1. And we'll talk about this more in the lesson later today. But in a expression, the brackets always get evaluated first. So this evaluates to 1, and this evaluates to 24. And so we get 24. So that is another way of doing it. Lesego, you are on the right track there by getting to 24. But again, you need to use the numbers, the 4 numbers that are here already. Okay. Guys, I'm so impressed by your enthusiasm. You've done a really nice job on that. This is just the warm-up for today, but that was really good. And we will come back to this in future. So well done. I'm giving you a shout out there. Let's go on to the news or the admin for the day. So at the end of today, or at about 5:40, we're going to do a little quiz to test out some functionality that the new website has. And so this quiz will be based on the first 2 lessons. And it's just a kind of getting a sense for us of how much you're retaining and also kind of how we need to adapt over time. So I just want to take you through this announcement. So let's just do this together. Tonight will be our first quizzes. Okay. Note, learners need to be signed up and logged into the website in order to do the quiz. So this raises the question, how do you sign up on the website. So Anya, I don't know if you want to maybe come in here. There was an announcement that we spoke about earlier. Could you explain to us what we need to do if students haven't already signed up to log into the website and what they need to do?
Okay, so it's very important you guys listen up nice and clearly now. So to access this quiz, right, you guys need to be signed up on the website, right? Okay. So what I'll do is in the chat, I'll also send the link on the chat as well, but please don't jump off now to go sort that out if you have not signed up yet, because you will only be able to access it from there. Just please, I ask that everyone's everyone's mics are on mute, please. And we'll just run through it. So please make sure that you are signed up. I'm going to send the link shortly in the chat as well. And you need to ask your parents to help you out. Towards the end of this lesson, Sir and I will make sure you guys are up and working. But like I said, the biggest thing is you need to be on the site, right? I'll hand back to Sir.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Peter, I'm going to jump in and also just say, if you're not signed up yet, that's fine, and you just won't be able to do the quiz this evening. But make sure that by next week, when we do our next quiz, you are signed up and you can log in and you're all set to go. So this week, if you haven't quite gotten sorted yet, ask your parents to sign you up on the website so you can get your login details so you can do the quiz.
Perfect. So I think that's the important thing is that, we want you guys to get familiar with the website. And getting sort of a login details is maybe the way to think of it. When you logged in, what you would see on the screen is you will see, for example, tonight, the screen would basically look like what I'm showing on the screen now. And that's basically you then start the quiz, and the quiz is done kind of very easily online. But in order to access it, you just need to get a login detail, basically. And then once you get through that first screen, it would look like that. Okay, so we'll go through that process with you later in the lesson. I don't want to get bogged down in the admin, but it was just important that we keep reminding you that the website is where all the good things happen. Okay, so let us begin our lesson properly. Okay, so the main focus today in the lesson is operations, carrying out mathematical operations with whole numbers. And so we're going to do some stuff together. I want you to get your pen and paper ready. So give me a thumbs up if you've got your pen and paper next to you and you're ready to write. I want to see thumbs up. If you need to go and get that pen and paper, and we're going to start by doing these two questions. So question number 1 and question number 2. What must you add to each of the following numbers to get 100? And then what must you multiply each of the following numbers to get 1,000? Now, these are all whole numbers. And I just want you to have that, go through that exercise. And so I'm going to get some fancy clock timer thing, I think, at some point. But for now, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that. It is now 13 minutes past. So she should give you a little bit more. Let's make it till 17:16. And I'll do the first one with you. So in order to get to 100 from 82, I need to add 18. In order to get to 100 from 44, I would add 6 to get to 50, and then for this one, what do I multiply by to get 1,000? I need to multiply 250 by 4. Okay, I won't steal the fun from you. Give me a thumbs down if you don't understand. If you do understand, just keep going. But give us a thumbs down if you don't understand. And then I will say some more. Okay, so basically, I'll give a little bit of extra. The main focus of this exercise is the number. I'm essentially asking you, what number goes with 82 to get me to 100? So there's a mystery number. Now, what I'm saying is that, and maybe the way to do it is to go, what is 100 minus 82? Or you can do it by inspection. How much do you have to add to 82 to get 100? And I'm saying that it's 18. And that's why I said this was 18.
Sorry,
Yeah.
for interrupting you, but I don't understand. May you please try more slower to
Okay.
explain? I don't understand.
Okay. So all I'm going to do is let's take the number 78. If we think of a number line and we think of this being 0 and this being 100, the number 78 is going to be about here. I'm asking in this question, what do I need to add to 78 to get to 100? How big is this bit over here? And so what I'm saying is if I add 2 to 78, I get to 80, but I still haven't got to 100, but I've added 2. Let's get a different color. So I've added 2 there, and then I have to add 20 more to get to 100. So the number that matches 78 is going to be, or 78 plus 22 gives me 100. When you're done, can you put your answers in the chat? So basically give me the numbers like as a string of numbers in the chat to see what you've done. Now, it's a little bit harder in the second one because we're trying to get to the number 1,000. Oh, wait. We're trying to get to the number 1,000. Let me zoom in. So what do you multiply 4 by to get 1,000?
Sorry, sir, just to pause you there.
Okay.
Ted has got a question. Ted, you can unmute your mic if you want to ask your question.
Okay.
So sir, the question is, sir, so we just need to find numbers that we can plus on the numbers that are here, then we can multiply them to get by 1,000.
Yes. So the first one is the operation of plussing. The second one is the operation of multiplying. So, for example, in the first one, you're asking what number do I add to 82 to get 100? You get 18, because that's what you add to 82 to get 100. The next one is 56. The next one here, if I start at 56, I need to add 4 to get to 60 and add 40 more to get to 100. So I have to add 44. And then I'll do one more, and I'll leave the last 3 for you. If I add 2 to 78, I get to 80. And then I get, if I add 20, so I add 22. And what I was asking you in the chat is to put the string of numbers that, I mean, I've obviously done the first ones for you.
You need to add.
Yeah. So I want you to put this in the chat. And then for this one over here, we're asking what do we need to multiply by to get, the number in focus is no longer 100, it's 1,000. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit more time. Yeah.
So sir, we need to by 24 and 89 and 77, we need to plus or multiply to get by 1,000.
Okay, let's separate the two parts. So the top bit, let me get my big yellow highlighter. This bit over here is only a plussing question. It's only adding. So this bit, we only want to know what do we add together to get 100. Then once we get down to this question over here, let me get a different color highlighter, or a little different color pen. This part over here is just multiplying. And I'm trying to multiply whatever number is below here to get to 1,000. The screen is getting a bit cluttered. Let me just clear it out. So, for example, and you may not know this, but if you take 125, and if you don't, that's fine. getting a sense of where you're at this stage. If you multiply 125 by 8, you actually get to 1,000. And I'll show you how here. 100 times 8 is 800. 20 times 8 is 160. And 5 times 8 is 40. Now, again, this is just a warm-up exercise. If we find that we need more practice, I will add this to the lessons going forward. So I just want to get a feel for how this felt for you. So just do the best you can for now, and then we'll do a thumbs up and thumbs down vote to see what the general sentiment is. Okay, so I'm going to put in here the answers. So this is going to be add 6, so that's 76. This is going to be 11, and this is going to be 23.
Sorry, sir, for interrupting, but I think the answer which I predict for the multiplying is 250 times 4 equals to 1,000 for the
Perfect.
multiplying.
Can I ask? No, that was fantastically well done. Can I suggest that as we go forward, that you put your hands up, because as the group grows, I want to make sure that we have some control over who's speaking when. So Miss Anya will see your hand and she will say, okay, go ahead and speak, but let's get some control. If you want to respond, I can see the chat window perfectly on my screen. And so I will pick that up. So you can also tell me the answer in the chat window. That's also perfectly fine. But if you're audibly talking, we need to have that raise your hand first. That would be fantastic. So I'm just going to go through the next ones. The next one would be 8. And then I would love to see, what is your answer? What does 25 get multiplied by to get 1,000? Go to your chat now and put the answer in the chat. I would love to see the answer in the chat. 25 times what gives me 1,000? I mean, if I was really stuck, I would probably go, well, 25 times 4 gives me 100. How can I use that to help me get to 1,000? Okay, I think Zayan and Annalisa are on the money here. So we can...
Sorry, sir, we've got the hand. Sorry to interrupt. Lesego would like to ask something. Lesego, you can unmute.
Go for it, yeah.
Okay, sir, 25, yes. 25 times 40 will be 1,000, if I'm not mistaken.
You are on the money, Well done.
Yes.
Guys, let's go to the next one. 500, I think everyone knows that. This is going to be multiplied by 2. The next one is actually also not too bad. It's just going to be multiplied by 5. And then the last one, I would love you to give me an answer. 50 multiplied by what gives me 1,000?
Sir, I think it's 20.
Okay, let's have a look. So it does appear to me that 50 times 2 would give me 100. And then I have to times it by 10 to get to 1,000. So you are quite correct. You are nailing it. Well done. Okay, so the goal of this was just to get you used to the idea of multiplication and addition, which are important operations. I want to move on to something a little bit different called order of operations now. Now, in grade 8, it's very important that we can do basic computations, but we are also allowed to use our calculators some of the time. So some of the time, it's not just about adding up or multiplying, it's about knowing the rules of maths. And so one of the rules of maths is, how do we know in what order to do our operations? So for example, here we have, we zoom right in. Here we have pluses and we have timeses or multiplication symbols. Which one gets done first is an important idea, because if I give you, let's say I give you this number, phrase, or sentence, times 5 plus 7. If I say to you, what is that equal to? Well, the problem we have is that we don't know if it's 3 multiplied by 2 first. Oh, sorry. My screen is going a bit bonky. Do I go 3 multiplied by 2 first, or should I go 2 plus 4 first. And so we have a rule called BODMAS or PEMDAS, depending on where you are in the world, that helps guide us. And I want to know from the class, have you heard of BODMAS or PEMDAS before? If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, give me a thumbs down. I want to see the thumbs of the students. Okay. So to give you a quick little recap, excuse if you're getting dizzy from the zooming, what BODMAS, I'll go with this. It's just a way of keeping track of what happens first. So the B stands for brackets. Oh, excuse my writing there. The O is of and sort of can be parentheses sometimes or powers. D is for division. M is for multiplication. A is for addition. S is for subtraction. Now, in this group, these groups kind of go together. Division and multiplication have the same level of importance. Addition and subtraction have their own level, and these guys are the most important. So they're in like first place, second place, third place. So now, if we look at this question, they're asking us, here are some calculations with the answers. Rewrite them with brackets to make all the answers correct. So at the moment, if we were applying BODMAS, out of the two choices, adding or multiplication, we should do multiplication first. So 6 times 5 is going to be 30. And 8 plus 30 does not equal 70. PEMDAS, okay, that's something that they use overseas. PEMDAS. Another word for brackets is parentheses. So they say parentheses instead of brackets. E stands for exponents, and then M- is the same. So it's just different parts of the world use different names, but the logic is the same. Okay, so now I want a suggestion. How can I use brackets to make this statement, or where should I put the brackets in this question to make the statement right? So I think if I put the brackets somewhere, that will happen first.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. We've got a hand in the choir. Murdy would like to ask a question. So Murdy, you may unmute your mic.
Go ahead.
I wanted to tell you my definition of BODMAS. For me, B stands for breakdown, then D stands for divide, and M stands for multiply. A stands for add, and then S stands for subtract. Is what they taught me in
Perfect.
maths in grade 7, and it's what I predict, and it's what I use when I come across this topic.
Perfect. So as long as you have got the main bit of knowledge from this is do you understand the order of importance, or which one comes first, which ones come second? If you've got that, you can call it whatever you like as long as you remember it. So it isn't important that we have the same words. It's important that we remember the order. So that is completely fine. So what I was going to say here is I want to know I was thinking if I put a bracket here, that forces this to be done first, because remember the B is if it's breakdown or whatever it is, this gets done first. And if that's a 14, then what is 14 times 5? Well, I think 14 times 5 is 70. And so then I'm a happy little math teacher. And so we've got that. Now, yeah.
So we have another question from Annalisa. So Annalisa, you can unmute your mic.
Yeah. Annalisa, you want to go ahead?
Sir, I think you should put the brackets around 6 times 5 in number A.
So if we do that, let's experiment with that. So if we go 8 plus 6 times 5 equals 70, won't that mean, so at the moment, we automatically have to do 6 times 5 first, because multiplication comes before addition in the BODMAS like order. So if we add brackets here, we're not actually going to get anything new. It's still going to evaluate to 38, which is not equal to 70. Okay, can I ask everyone, give me a second, I'll come back to you in a moment. Can I ask, while I'm explaining, those who get this, can you please try and do these 3 for me? And then I'm going to carry on explaining with the students who would like a little bit more detail. But I don't want you to sit around. I want you to get on. And if you're really flying, even do E and F. Okay, go ahead, Annalisa. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Sir, I was giving the answer for B, not A.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So you're saying put it around. Where must I put it?
6 times 5.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You are winning at life. Who would like to tell us? In fact, I like this, people jumping on. So if you could put your hand up, and I want to hear your voice. For C, who can give me the brackets?
We've got a hand from Ted, so I'm just going to give the floor to Ted if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Ted.
Sir, I thought that the answer was if you put the brackets at 8 plus 6, and then it's going to be equal to 14, and times it with 5, because I started with 5 times 2.
So, Ted, I'm not...
And I said 5
Okay,
times
apologies for bad audio.
I said 65. Then I said
Okay.
40
Can I ask
times
you to move Ted, the quality of the audio is very low. Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to model a few more answers. Sorry, the audio wasn't great there, Ted, so I'm going to interpret what I can from your question. I didn't get it all. So basically, we're going to do C together and D, and then we'll go from there. If we look at C, then the main problem at the moment is that we don't get to 52 if we read it like normal. Normally, we would start with the multiplication, and then we do the addition, and then the subtraction. We don't get to 52. But maybe if we can put the brackets somewhere important, then what we can do, let's see if we can do this together. So if I go 5, if I put the brackets here, 5 plus 8 is 13. And then I get 13 times 6 minus 2. Now, I need to know my times tables, but I know that, what do I have? 13 times 6. Oh, that's also not going to give me the right answer. So actually, this is a hard question. Who has some suggestions for C? Where should the bracket go? I'd love to see in the chat. We could also put our bracket around here, 6 minus 2. Oh, sorry, guys, this pen is being uncooperative.
So we've got 2 hands in the chat. We've got our first hand from Murdy, and then after Murdy, we've got Wanga.
Murdy, where do you think we should put the brackets here?
I think we should put the brackets in between 8 times 6, which equals to 48. Then you say 48 plus 5 minus 2, which will give us 52.
Oh, okay. I think maybe I made an error there because I think you're right. So let's see. 5. Oh, let's get this pen right. 5. So you're saying you multiplied this, right? Now I get 5 plus 48 is 53 minus 2. I get 51 if we do that. Anya, what do you get? So 8 times 6 is 48. I get 51.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah. So we off by 1. So you're very close, Murdy, but not quite there too much.
You know what I've realized, guys? I've realized there's actually a mistake in this question, because even if I do it like this, right? 5 plus that is going to give me 37. So actually, the teacher is the question actually doesn't make sense unless I've missed something obvious. There's no other way that you can regroup this. The 13 times 6. So I'm going to say we're moving on from that for now. And also our time is running short. So what I want to do is say to you, we will come back to this type of question because it's an important one. But what I want to encourage you to do is an important part of the section is doing times table practice. And so I just want to recommend something to you. A lot of my students, what I get them to do is I get them to play times table games in class to practice so that they know what 7 times or 3 times 7 or 8 times 5 is. Now, obviously, if you're at home and you need to practice your times tables, how do you do that? And there's a very cool app that I use with my students called the Olico app. And I just want to show it to you before we do our quiz. Let's just quickly get that out of the way. This Zoom thing just will not move. There we go. So I just want you to write that down in your book. If you want to practice your times tables by yourself, you'll notice that in this first section, times tables they come up. I can do a lot of times tables in my head, and that comes from practice. But I want you guys to get as good as that. So can you just give me a thumbs up if you have you understand the spelling of Olico and you can do a Google search for it? So I'll come back to it here. And you can search for that app, and there's actually competitions, and you can win prizes and all sorts. And I really want for you as students this year, I've taught maths for many years, and I know that in grade 8, students who master their times tables, they really have a good foundation for things like common denominators and all these other ideas, fractions that come later. And so since today is about operations, that is one of the main things I want you to do. So just give me a thumbs up if you've understood me. Give me a thumbs down if you're like, what are you talking about, crazy man?
While we wait for that, guys, I've been sending quite a few direct messages to some of you. Obviously, Sir cannot always get to all these hands. So if Sir cannot get your question, I am trying to reach from my side. So just keep an eye on your chat as well to see where I can assist from my side.
Totally.
All right, Sir.
That's such a good point. So obviously, we're all getting used to this learning environment together, and we will find, just like a classroom, we'll almost figure out our classroom rules as we go. And one of the things is I love hearing your voices. So it's so nice for me as a teacher to hear them. But there's some times where we can have quick little bits of microphone, questions and answers, and quickly on and off. But a lot of the time, the chat is a great way to get your question, because Anya will have a look at your question and reply to you in the chat. So if you ask a question, don't keep an eye on the chat stream. I know it moves quickly, but she'll often answer the chat stream. Whereas the jumping on to ask a question, it is great, but we're going to have to get that ratio right. Okay, so I think most of you have got the idea of the Olico app for practicing your times tables. I'll talk more about that in future lessons. But for now, I'm actually going to go to the quiz part of the lesson. And I know it's going to be a little bit strange, but I want us to try and do that. Because, it's the beginning of the year and we are just getting used to how these things work. So where have I put the link? Have you got the link, Anya? Oh, there we go. There it is. Aha, there we go. Okay. So we're going to walk you through this process. And so if you could please try and make your way, can we send them the link in the chat, Anya? So can we start with that? For those students,
just give me a second.
So today's main part of the lesson is going to stop at this that times table idea. I want you to practice that.
Sorry, guys. I just want to double check about the link that you're sending. It shouldn't be the ProProfs link, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sending that link, eh?
Okay. So where? Because I went to the
learners must navigate to the website.
Okay. Should I go on the website now? Should I just go straight there live? So website, Watobe.
Yeah, the learners will be, if they are logged in, I think Peter showed them the screen that the screenshots I gave you.
Okay, perfect. I will. So they should get.
Not the ProProfs link, okay? Yeah.
Not the. Okay.
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
so students, if you could try and
go
go to,
back to the page that they came in on this lesson from.
okay,
So the main lesson page, they can just go back where they saw these two buttons, join class on Zoom or start quiz.
that'll be awesome. Yeah.
So when you're ready, then everyone will click on start quiz.
Okay,
And
what I want students, thank you, Marlies. So that's our head of learning at Watobe, everyone, in case you're wondering if someone's speaking to us from the cloud. So what we want now is we want you to try and navigate back to the website and to get to the screen, a page that looks like the screenshots currently on the screen. And once you have started your quiz, then I want you to give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can. That would be fantastic. And then once you start that quiz, that is going to be the last thing we do for the lesson today. And then next week, I will come back to you and we will, a lot of the sort of first week kind of getting used to things will be in order. But this is the last thing that we're doing today. But it's important because it will take you a good sort of 10 minutes or so to do the quiz. So this is, once you've done the quiz for the day, the lesson is done. And I'm going to wait for people who can get into the quiz, give me a thumbs up. And people who are struggling to get into the quiz, give me a thumbs down. Okay. That would be awesome. Lasejo, fantastic. Okay, so all right, I love that I'm seeing the thumbs up and down. For those who are in the quiz, guys, it has been fantastic to be with you this week. I want you to go ahead and do the quiz as best you can. It's just a little like warm up, getting used to the system for us. But once you finish the quiz, you are done for the day and the class is dismissed. For those who are haven't signed up, you won't be able to do the quiz yet, but we can use this time now to try and get you signed up. So maybe you can get your parents into the room and we'll stay and try and help you for the next 10 minutes or so. But if you can't do the quiz today, no worry, then all you need to do for the rest of today is to get to the website and sign up for the free trial. Because once you have a login name, it's like everything on the internet. Once you have a login name, that will allow you access to all these services. And so you may just need to set up that login. Okay, but for those whose thumbs up, then class is dismissed and you are off to do the quiz. And I will see you next week, Wednesday. Well done, Zanati. Well done.
Guys, sorry, it's
go for it. Yeah.
It's the voice from heaven speaking again.
What is it? Yeah.
You need to ask your parents to sign you up, guys. If you haven't signed up yet, you need to go bug your parents this evening to sign you up on the website so that you can get your login details from them. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll put that here. Speak to parents or guardians, whoever.
Parents.
Speak to parents.
Yes, get it done by Friday, and then next week you will see it. Lesejo, you've got your hand up, and Ted, you also have your hand up.
Do you want to go ahead?
Ma'am, sir, I don't. How do we log in for the website? I have my mom right here.
Okay.
Okay, so you first have to go to sign up. Yeah, Anya, if you could maybe open that for, or who's sharing? Peter.
I'm saying, let's go to.
Sure. So
to
if you haven't already, you need to go. Do you see there in the top right-hand corner where it says sign up? You need to go sign up there.
Yeah, so let me get my little pointer thing and I will try and help you. So hopefully my mouse is circling around the screen there. And so maybe I should just click on sign up. Let me try and do this. Okay.
Yes.
But also in the chat, I've also included the sign up link. Just please check it. It's the correct one, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks, Anya. That's right.
Okay, so basically it's like anything on the internet where you sign up, you just put your details in here. And this is just so that we can basically facilitate the back and forth that goes with learning online. Okay, so in order for us to basically create our virtual classroom, we do need a certain amount of information to make that happen. And so this process, but once we've done it, it's out the way, essentially, as I understand it. So
Yes,
Yeah.
once you are signed up, if your mom's going to sign you up, then she will get login details.
Oh, I think I lost someone there. Anya, are you still with me? I
For
think,
you, and then you still have your hand up. Can we help?
I can hear Marlies, you're a bit choppy, but we've got two hands. We've got Lesego's hand is up. Lesego, if you still need help, you can talk now, and after Lesego, Tate, you can chat.
Oh no, ma'am, I don't have a question. I was just asking if I could start, but I already started.
perfect.
Let's go. Start your quiz.
Go forth.
I'm already finished.
Oh, on fire.
Awesome. Well done.
Well done. And I think you've earned a break. I mean, it's time to bring your day to an end. Well done. Okay, some more questions, I think.
I think, yeah, it's just Lesego's hand is still up, but he's fine. And then Tate, do you still have a question there on your side?
No, ma'am. My question, I already asked the question. Sir Peter already replied to my questions. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. And then Annalisa just mentioned in the chat now that the link to the quiz is not working. Annalisa, you first need to make sure of your parents that you are signed up. So if you just, I'm going to send the link again to you. You should first be signed up before you can access the quiz. That's very important. There's the link in the chat box now.
Yeah.
Ma'am Anya. Ma'am Anya.
Yep.
Yes, Ted, how can I help
Ma'am,
you?
Yeah.
can ma'am also please send the link to me?
Okay. So I think the link is in the chat as I understand it. So so if you look, who was I think it was Kaise. Was that you speaking, Kaise? Then if you look in the chat stream, Pumzile, you've signed up on Sunday. So all you need to do then is go to the website, sign in, and you should see the quiz working.
I've added two links on the chat now. The first link is if your parents have not signed you up to Watobe yet. If they have signed you up, then you can access the quiz on the second link.
Okay.
Moody, you also have a question? Moody, you have your hand raised?
Yes. Lesedi, class is dismissed.
Yes.
You can just do your quiz. And well done for being part of today.
Which grade are you teaching after this class?
I'm teaching grade 11. I'm teaching grade 11, but Watobe teaches all classes across from grade 7 to grade 12. So, and they're on Mondays. Okay. We're on Mondays and Wednesdays, but yeah.
Okay. So, sir, I wanted to ask, there's a boy in grade 11, his name is David. Do you know him?
Do I know him?
Yes.
He's probably in my grade 11 class if he was joining on Monday. So that name does sound familiar, but we're still getting to know the grade 11 students.
Yeah, because he's my brother. He's the one who introduced me to Watobe.
Ah, fantastic. Now we're going to be doing equations and things. So I'm actually going to pop off now and go and prepare for that lesson, but it has been really nice. I love that we're getting going. It feels like our classroom is lifting off, and I will see all of you guys next week, Monday, and hope that you enjoyed the quiz. I hope it was a bit of fun to end the lesson. Okay, Anya, I'm going to jump off now to get to the grade 11 thing, and then I think, yeah, we can sort of start sending all the students off to enjoy the rest of their day. Fantastic.
Okay.